I'm your host, Ann Kelly. Today's guest is Nicole Iannaconne. She's the head of lighting at the Dallas Theater Center. Thanks for joining us today, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.
And where are you today?
I'm actually in Arlington. I am about 30 miles south of Dallas, but you know, commuting's not bad in Texas. It's all flat.
No mountains to drive up.
No mountains to traverse.
So Nicole and I met in, I think, 1999.
That's correct. September of 99.
Yeah, so College of Santa Fe. We were in art school. Was your degree specifically lighting design, theater? What was?
Actually, the awesome thing about the College of Santa Fe is I kind of designed my own degree. That I have a BA in technical theater with an emphasis in lighting.
Cool. Well, we were super lucky to go there when we did, because it's gone through a lot of weird changes and actually no longer exists.
Yeah.
But it was around, it started in like 18 something or other.
Yeah, it was 18 something or other with the brothers that started, you know, the College of Santa Fe way back in the day. And yeah, I guess it got a good 100-year-ish run.
Yeah. So we got to take advantage of that. And you have continued to work in that field for...
Graduated in 2003, so I've been 17 years in professional lighting.
In the Bay Area for a while.
That's true. I lived out in Oakland, and I worked in Walnut Creek at their the leisure center for the performing arts for quite some time.
And then you moved to Texas, where you're originally from.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I moved back here to work at the AT&T Performing Arts Center, and now I work for the Dallas Theater Center, which is one of the resident clients of the AT&T Performing Arts Center.
Right. We were talking about that earlier. There's kind of multiple theaters that you might use, and
yeah, we work in about 5 different venues, I guess, most of which are at the AT&T Performing Arts Center. Primarily we work in the Wiley and their Potter Rose space, but they also have a studio space in that building. And then across the street's the Windspear Opera House, which we did one show at one point. And then next to that is our outdoor venue called Strauss, the Annette Strauss Artist Square. And we did a show back, I don't know, 3 years ago now, where we did this sort of walking tour of the arts district with Electra, the Greek drama. And we're looking at doing potentially a concert out there this season.
So have you been able to use the outdoor performance area?
There's an outdoor, it's not like an amphitheater, but it's similar to that in that it's like a raked lawn with a stage. We used it once for a show a few years ago, and we're hoping to use it this year. So there's been a lot of folks who have booked out there and various other things. So like fingers crossed, we'll do a concert in December there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, things are kind of having to move outdoors.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Texas is even in December, it's not that cold.
Right. That is definitely helpful. So I've, again, known you since 1999, but I don't think I've ever actually... or I don't remember the story of how you actually got into theater, where that interest kind of originally developed from. Or if we have had that conversation, I don't remember.
I don't know that we have. Like,
Yeah.
I started in theater in high school. I mean, you know, in high school, most people do a little bit of everything. I decided that was what I wanted to try to do for a living. So I applied to a bunch of different schools, and I got into the College of Santa Fe, and my original plan was to be a scenic designer. But the carpenters met at like 7 a.m. and the lighting people met at 6 p.m. So I went to a lighting call because I didn't want to wake up at 7 a.m. and kind of fell in love with it after that. It's like painting, but with light. So you don't make a mess. You just have to play with electricity.
Had the photography department been like that, I would have made the same decision.
Right?
I'm not a morning person.
Not a morning person at 18.
If anybody has noticed most of the Art in the Raw episodes, it is dark.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's kind of similar to my story, and I just fell in love with photography and art in high school, and there was just kind of no other direction that I was going to go in later, and also found the College of Santa Fe and met you, and we lived together for years.
That's true. You were my favorite roommate.
Well, thank you. So before we get into what's going on now, I was reminiscing earlier about, do you remember the art show we collaborated on? I called it A Night of Art and Music.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and that's back when I was working at the restaurant, and that was a crazy production we put on. I rented a warehouse. I got 10 artists, including Nicole. She was showing some paintings to put together this art show, and Nicole also did all of the lighting.
That's true.
So it was this.
That was my first time doing lighting for art, and it was really fun, and I got to learn lots of stuff about.
And that was wild. I mean, it was one night only. We made professional cards. There was music, all of that. So I was thinking kind of earlier today of I mean, maybe the show is just kind of a continuation of that in the digital
maybe
world.
So.
So thank you for doing the lighting for that. That was amazing.
And of course.
It was kind of wild. We had to get all of the art in and out in a pretty short.
We had some crazy short time. Like I feel like we only had 48 hours for the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. So.
And I remember like power math was insane because there was no power there, and trying to figure out how to make anything look decent / you know, have a band play and all of that. Like it was crazy.
And you might have gotten a little bit electrocuted or zapped by something. I don't know.
I don't remember that. That's not a good thing if I don't remember that. It's possible. I know I've been shocked a few times in my life. Thankfully, I'm still here, so not badly, but
yeah.
That could have been one of them. I remember an extension ladder that I had to like put up to the top of the like ceiling in like that 2-story room to like access one of the only circuits in the building.
Gotta love Santa Fe construction.
Yeah, and I like used beam clamps to hang like the source 4s that I borrowed from somebody so that we could like shine it at the art, and it was nuts.
So that was the early 2000s, and we're still doing it. So
cheers to that.
Cheers to that. So I think Western Civilization was a class that we both were required to take at the College of Santa Fe, which sometimes was more exciting than others. But I was kind of brushing up on my theater facts earlier. The origin of theater just goes back so far, and I mean that doesn't necessarily surprise me.
There's been humans, we've been performing for each other.
Yeah, and so that's, I mean, as much as I've kind of known that every time I've done a show and say I'm looking up fountains or acrylic paint or just painting, anything like that, or tattooing, it just goes back that far. So theater is not any different.
No.
And the origin of
about
theater relates to the god Dionysus, who is the god of fertility and wine.
Yep.
So don't remember that from Western Civ, but think it's kind of cool now. So in 2020, that sounded really serious. In 2020, it's been a little challenging, or current times have really kind of modified, well, I mean, everything, but also with the theater, you haven't been able to really.
Yeah, theater's been hit pretty hard. Like you said, everybody's been hit hard, but like much of the live events industry is shut down still. Like I couldn't give you actual statistics, but ballpark 90% of people who work in the live arts are still out of. Broadway is shut down till May, maybe even the fall. Like it's crazy. There's not a lot happening, and people are trying. Like we're trying to forge ways to do something, you know, just to stay alive.
So one of the things you're working on right now is you're doing the Christmas Carol, an adaptation anyways of it that's going to stream.
That's true. Yeah, we're doing, it's called, I'm going to try and get this right, it's called Into the Bleak Midwinter, A Christmas Carol for Our Times, which is, yes, an adaptation of, you know, the original Christmas Carol. That's our artistic director is actually writing right now. It's mostly finished, but you know, with any original work, you're tweaking it through tech. So yeah, we're working on that. It's going to feature like our acting company. All of the department heads within the theater are going to be designing their various, you know, departments basically. So I'm acting as the lighting designer for this show. Our costume director is functioning as the costume designer, you know, that kind of thing.
This will probably be airing actually closer to the time when people can buy tickets. How would people go about that? Or do you know that now?
We can I mean, tickets will be available through our website, which is thedallastheatercenter.org. We're only streaming it. We're actually not able to have audiences due to current restrictions and everything. So we're setting up a filmed version of this in the theater. This is new for a lot of us. Yeah. I've worked in theater most of my adult life and have only done like tiny bits with film. So it's going to be interesting. We'll film it the week of Thanksgiving. And then it'll go into post-production like after the holiday, and we'll be releasing it to stream starting at the beginning of September, and it'll stream all the way through Christmas, probably New Year's.
And we'll put the description of how to buy the tickets and all of that in the description of this video, so you can check that out there. So, I mean, that's just kind of an interesting thing. And on one level, it's less accessible because you can't go and actually sit in the audience. But on another level, for example, I can go.
It's true, yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to. Or
I mean,
it's unlikely that I would have been able to attend.
No, had you happened to have been visiting, maybe, or whatever, you know, that's the only way any of my friends see the work I do generally. I mean, that's like one of the amazing things about live art is it's a shared live experience, and that's what you're missing. But at the same time, that means my friends all over the country can check out the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep it alive somehow, some way. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, maybe that'll just change theater, so many things moving forward. Maybe there will be the live performance, but also that streaming.
Yeah, simultaneously, it could be being streamed a live performance, you know, that could be great.
Yeah.
Although my video guy, he's not going to like me saying those words out loud.
Sorry, video guy. I don't know him personally, so he can't be.
It's okay.
He can be mad at me. You're kind of in the planning phase of that at this point, right? Have you started?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the planning / pre-prep. Like, we know what's happening. Like, I've designed a plot, you know, I have a light plot that I've submitted to my staff / myself as the master electrician, which I can't wait to have the lighting designer master electrician battle between myself and tech. That's going to be great. Yeah, so my staff has like basically started prep work on the show where you break down the light plot, decide where all the lights are getting plugged into, you know, organize things as best you can to have a smooth load-in process, because a week from Monday we load in for the first time in 7 months, which I'm pretty excited about.
That must feel good. I was kind of brushing up earlier and I ran into a bit of information that I wasn't familiar with. Going back, they used to build the theaters they would do outside theaters and they would build them east to west to make use of the natural light. So definitely come a long way with that. Like, you would have had to.
Yeah, we actually have one of the buildings we perform in is called the Kalita Humphreys Theater. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and there are windows in the house that are designed for optimal lighting at certain times so that the light would hit the stage. Like, it's, you know, that's definitely the original thing from way back in the day, but it followed through even, I guess, that building's 60 years old. So, you know, into the late 50s, early 60s, that idea was still around in some ways.
That's really cool. So do they do performances in that? I mean, do they still take advantage of that?
No, we keep those windows tightly shut during performances.
Not that I have any sway, but one day I would love to see that happen. I
would too, actually. I really think that would be a neat thing to implement. The problem usually is because most shows happen at 8 o'clock, 7:30. It's already dark.
Right.
But, you know,
Right.
it would be cool to like plan a show like on the weekends or something to go with the sunset to sort of have that work through your show as the sunset and hit the stage beautifully with that. You know, why not?
Maybe it could be a streaming thing.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a good idea.
I would drive to Dallas to see that.
Right?
Quite sure. And then there was a time period where they were actually using candles and candelabras.
Yep.
But I guess there was an issue with the patrons getting burned by wax. And
I have heard that. I think it also might have had to, you know, started a few theater fires.
right. I would imagine.
Yeah, if I remember right from theater history, they had footlights on the edge of the stage that were candles with reflectors behind them, and that's like where the term footlight came from, is because there's lights at your feet.
Oh, cool, cool. So we've gone from daylight to candles to possibly LED if you have them, and lasers maybe. Maybe fog machine.
We don't generally employ a lot of lasers in the theater, but yeah.
You could.
We could. They're out there.
So you guys did one other streaming production.
We did right before everything, you know, shut down and the world changed. We were in the middle of mounting American Mariachi. So we were at dress rehearsal when we were told we were going to have to shut down. So we basically filmed our dress rehearsal and streamed that. Yeah.
That was kind of surprise. Whereas
yeah, it was a surprise. Like, I mean, I can't that week is a blur because it was so insane. Like everything was just like, nobody knew what was going on. We knew we were shutting down. We weren't going to be able to do a show, but we were trying to figure something out, and we got something out, and it was actually great. Like the folks who filmed that for us did a beautiful job, and like it was reasonably successful. Like a lot of people were excited about it. I don't know how the sales went. That unfortunately, like that's not my job to keep track of that, but I think we sold out fairly well. I mean, I don't know if sold out is the right word, but we sold fairly well. Yeah. And I know I had friends that I had a friend in Washington who streamed it and texted me to tell me how much she loved it. And I had family in New York that streamed it. So, you know, that was something that obviously, like you said before, you know, doesn't generally happen with theater. You're far away. People don't get to see that stuff. So that was kind of a highlight of, even though everything was terrible and crazy, it was like, oh, well, we got to at least give a little piece of our art out there to the world.
Right. And so this time around, it's actually being planned as such. So
yeah,
that may be a little less hectic and crazy.
Yeah, fingers crossed it will be. No,
At
I
least
think
the
we'll
fact
be
that
fine.
it's streaming is not a surprise.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. We're planning for it. While it is new for us, like we're trying to figure out as much as we can on the front end. And you know, one thing you can say about most folks who work in live production, we're comfortable dealing with things changing at the last second and working under stress. So we'll be fine.
Right. And you had mentioned when I was asking about your technical title at this point in time, over time you've had different titles, and that's kind of changed just based upon what's going on now. So in the normal world, what, like all of the things that you do, it's quite
in the normal world, so I'm the head of lighting for the Dallas Theater Center, which basically means like I function as like the lighting supervisor and the master electrician. So like I deal with coordinating with we hire in lighting designers normally. You know, we hire them in actually from all over the world. I've worked with a number of amazing people throughout my time at the Dallas Theater Center, and I basically coordinate with them on the front end, you know, help them work within our budgetary constraints, you know, / realize their vision, because, you know, they're coming in and they want the world, and come up with crazy ideas, and then I figure out how to implement said crazy ideas, and hopefully we make some beautiful art together.
So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I think is beautiful about theater, is just the collaborative aspect of it, just within art making.
We are a collaborative bunch, you know, like And I actually think there's like a line from the Christmas Carol that we usually do. That's no man is an island. You know, you can't do anything by yourself, basically. And theaters definitely has that in its whole, the way we operate. You can't, there, you know, a one-person show isn't a one-person show. It still takes probably 10 people to put that up.
Right. Yeah. Which is interesting with the different mediums. I mean, so many mediums are kind of a solitary
That's
thing.
true.
Others not so much. Or you can make them collaborative, even if they are kind of solitary.
That is also true, yeah. I mean, while painting might be generally something you do by yourself, to do a mural with, you know, a dozen people can be equally as powerful and amazing.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you still paint?
I do. um, Actually, yeah, and I don't paint as often as I'd like to. Last work I did was painting of the Brooklyn Bridge when everything was going crazy with New York. That's where I'm originally from, and I just I felt like I needed to show a little love to my original hometown, and I did you know, a sort of me style with lots of weird detail painting of the Brooklyn Bridge that I gave to my cousin for her very late wedding present. I would think I was about 7 months late.
Well, but it was a very thoughtful gift.
Yeah. She tells me she loves it. She's either nice enough to me to tell me she loves it, or she really loves it.
Well, somewhere around here, I have the card from Art in the Raw that has your painting on, that was on plywood. Was it on plywood?
Yeah, that's right.
I will never forget that painting. I love that painting.
I still have it. It hangs in my bedroom. I have one of yours in the background. I don't know if you can see it, actually.
I was noticing that. I was like,
I didn't think of that until at some point we started, and I was like, oh yeah, that's Anne's painting Anne's photograph by me.
I made that right after college, because I didn't have, that was one of my first digital pieces.
Yeah.
Darkroom anymore. And yeah, the whole photo world is just yeah, I mean, speaking of going from using natural light to candles to
yeah. Yeah, photo world and lighting world has some parallels there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so many artistic mediums. I mean, even painting, just different types of paint. It's all connected. I keep
for
saying
real.
That. Do you want to show that video that?
Sure. This is one of my amazing staff members made this as a sort of introduction to team lighting at the Dallas Theater Center.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's Jessica. She did a fabulous job with that.
Shout out to Jessica. Don't know her, but that was amazing. Are there any Instagram photos you want to share from the Dallas Theater Center? That
we have some good ones from the Red Alert restart campaign that we did.
Right. Yeah. So that was something I was seeing on. Hold on.
So, you know, time is lost all meaning, but if I remember correctly, on September 1st, live performance venues all over the country lit their buildings up in red to try and draw attention to the fact that we need help.
Right.
That our industry is struggling right now. Yeah, so that's the Wiley Theater. That's so Aaron Johansson, the lighting supervisor at APAC, actually did the inside, and then I did the outside from the Wind Spear across the street. It rained that night, which was unfortunate. Like, it was like terrible Texas storm, because we probably could have done so much more. We did our best trying to, you know, light things safely with it being pouring rain. But yeah, so that's the Wiley Theater. That's where the Dallas Theater Center does a lot of their productions. Lit up in red to hopefully draw attention to the fact that we need some help, you know. We're talking about, you know, extend PUA, and it was hashtag red alert restart. So yeah.
And I was definitely seeing a lot of that on social media. And even though I initially didn't necessarily understand what the message was, it was effective.
Yeah, I mean, there was, I forget how many cities have participated now, but it was a ton of cities participated with a ton of buildings and a ton of companies, like, and people were like, you know, most of these folks were out of work. They were doing this on volunteer basis to draw attention to what's going on with us.
So yeah, we've got to keep these things alive, and I can't wait to stream the version of the Christmas Carol.
In the bleak midwinter.
Yes.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited about it. I don't know. I'm nervous about it. I haven't done full lighting designs in a little while, so that's all right, though. You know, I think we're gonna try. We're gonna try and make some art and give it out to the people, because that's what you do in theater.
Right. It's just a different thing. So, the surprise question.
Oh no!
Surprise question. If you could time travel to any point in time ever, where would that be?
Past and future, like anytime ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I think I'd want to see what the future is like. I think I'd want to jump like 10,000 years from now and see if we're still around.
You had to go back in time.
I mean, that's a tough call. I mean, the default theater person answer is obviously go see Shakespeare, but I don't know if that's real. I think I might want to like go check it on like the French court in the 1800s and see what kind of crazy things they're up to.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can bop around for a little bit, so you can go to,
I mean, if I had TARDIS options, I'd just see everything.
Right?
I'd totally be one of Doctor Who's companions. I mean, if that was...
I feel like we're all feeling a little bit like time travelers recently, where we're like on Zoom and we're bopping around through different time zones. And
yeah, it's a weird reality we're in that regard, where, you know, we're and time in some ways has lost all meaning. Like, I used to be one of those guys where people would say, oh, time flies, and I'd be like, no, it doesn't. I remember yesterday and 10 years ago, and like the last 7 months, I'm like, was that last week or was that 4 years ago? I don't know.
Right. Is it summer or?
It was like, I looked at the calendar. I was like, it's October. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's new for me. That might be something everybody has always felt, but that's new for me, for time to fly and freeze at the same time.
Yeah. No. I that sounds really weird, but I've kind of experienced a similar thing.
Right.
Doesn't really make sense, but I've heard other people say it, so I guess it's a thing.
You're in a Zoom meeting that's supposed to end in 15 minutes, but yet it feels like yesterday at the same time.
You used to live in New Mexico.
Yes, I did.
What is the food you miss the most? I mean,
thankfully, I don't miss it because I can now buy it. I miss Horseman's Haven's green chili the most, and since the shutdown, is one of the good things about shutdown is they have started shipping out of state.
I've been telling people that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I've gotten like 3 times now, believe it or not, in 6 months. I have gotten 6 pints of Horseman's Haven green chili.
So you were doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing all right with that. I had some this morning. It was delicious.
Awesome. But like, if there was like a dish from New Mexico, like between enchiladas, chimichanga, stuffed sopapilla.
I'm a huevos rancheros girl.
Mm-hmm. So you could kind of do that up yourself with the eggs and.
That's true. Although I do miss those stuffed sopapillas that Tia Sophia's did. Like that. Oh my God, those are good.
Yeah. Food, so very important.
It's true.
And then these days, your favorite movie. Do you have a favorite movie?
Oh gosh. I've never been good at picking favorites for films or television. Like, I can't even think of the last great movie I watched, because Josh and I have kind of been just rewatching stuff lately.
And actually, that's something I found. Everybody's kind of rewatching things. So
yeah, I'm rewatching Stranger Things right now, which is an amazing show. I love that show. We just hit season 3, which is season 1 and 2 are phenomenal. 3's good, but I not my favorite. I'm excited for season 4 though.
Okay, so yeah, I need to go back to that because I watched season 1 and I think I got distracted in season 2, and really they're already on season 4.
Well, I think because of COVID, they got shut down. I am a nerd enough that I read this. They got shut down in the middle of filming season 4. And they have resumed recently under very stringent protocols, and they should be able to release it in July of 21.
But I'm still behind.
You're still behind, but you have time to catch up is what I'm saying. Like, you've got a solid 9 months to watch a couple of seasons.
I can do that. No, that's an amazing show. I'm just always kind of interested in other sort of mediums or just forms of art, art, music, television, like what are they interested in? And I think recently, just in terms of the just weird pandemic times, I know I've been just revisiting everything.
Yeah.
So how
I'd
about
say that's absolutely true. I've delved into some new artists, or at least new for me. They're not super new out there. I love Lizzo. I think she's amazing. Listening to a bunch of Alicia Keys' new stuff because she's also amazing. But yeah, I also find myself just letting my phone shuffle all of the music on there and listening to my whole collection, at random. That's kind of fun.
Oh yeah. And so you have a favorite musician from back in the day you're just particularly feeling recently?
I mean, I think there's been a part of there's been an angsty part of this shutdown that's driven me to listening to a lot of Nirvana. It's just I feel a little bit like I did when I was 13, where I don't like sitting still and I'm weirded out by how much I'm not running around doing stuff. So I'm just that would be the musician anyway.
I actually definitely went through that myself.
And then on the opposite end, I find myself revisiting any reggae I have just because I'm like, oh, I need that too.
Makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an element of angstiness in that too, but it's angstiness with an upbeat, so it's a little different.
We're gonna dance to that.
Yes.
Well, it's so good to see you, Nicole. Do you have any shout outs for theater people? Anybody else? You don't have.
I mean, I guess if I should probably, thank my amazing group of people that I work with. The Dallas Theater Center has some awesome electricians on staff with Micah and Chris and Jessica. I love those guys. Do you have any information about how to stream A Bleak Midwinter, A Christmas Carol for Our Times?
Well, I can't wait to watch it. I guess, yeah, I'm an optimist, and I just want to believe that we're going to go back to normal, and moving forward, maybe we have the regular shows and then we have the streaming shows as well. And then that just adds to the audience, and I can check out the shows you're creating. And that's super exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that's an excellent way to look at it.
I mean, there's a lot of,
I hope for the best and plan for the worst. So yeah, I think I'm hoping for the best. I think it's going to work out.
In the meantime, I'm super stoked that you are still getting to do what you do, because a lot of people are not.
Me too.
And that the production is moving forward, and I can't wait to see it. Oh, I forgot to ask my favorite question. Do you have any interesting things you collect?
I didn't mean to collect these, but I got one and then people started buying them for me. But I have those little pop art guys. They're all over my office.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't remember who I got first, but now I have a dozen or so of those little pop art figurines. I've got, Chewbacca and Daenerys and a couple of guys from, anyways, yeah, I've got a bunch of those. I guess if I have a collection, that's it.
I'm not familiar. Do you have any like near
I
you?
don't have any here. I think they were literally all at work.
Okay.
but
Well,
but
send
they're
us the
like
photos.
famous anybody's, like cartoons, you know, any sort of like if it's a movie, whatever, if you can like give it a big head and a little body and make a cute little cartoon character at it, then they make it into a little figurine.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining us on Art in the Raw.
Absolutely.
And for everybody listening, if you're new to the show, tell your friends, like, comment, subscribe. It's YouTube. That's how it works. Let's keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Art in the Raw. All right. Well, have a good night, Nicole.
Thanks, you too.